Drone, filters, you guys know the subject of today's vlog. Right guys, we're gonna talk about filters again and drones. We're gonna start from the kit I've got right now while Giovanni is flying his FPV drone in the background. And then I'm gonna guide you through why we need ND filters for filmmaking in general and for your drone. This brand is K&F Concept. They got in touch lately through my channel and they kindly sent me this kit of filters for the Mini 3 Pro, which I have right there. Very nice portable drone. Inside the kit you've got one UV filter, very useful to keep the dust out of your lens, for protection as well. We got one circular polarizer and 4 ND filters going from ND8, 16, 32 and 64 according to the intensity of the light, of course. With the kit also comes this set of propellers. You've got 4 pairs, so if you break any of your Mini, you got replacement right there. And the kit costs £79.99 from Amazon, link in the description tab. The filters have multi-layer coating, they are waterproof, oil-proof, scratch-proof as well, and they reduce their lens flares and the reflections of the light. They're made of aero aluminum alloy. It's very light. Each filter is 0.7 grams. It's ridiculous. So they don't really affect the flight of your drone and you can just launch it safely. Briefly, that's the kit of these K&F Concept filters. Let's talk about their use. We got UV filter. We mentioned it helps to protect the lens from the dust, of course, from any damage, from any heat. I usually keep these on whenever I'm not using ND filters. Then we have a circular polarizer. This is called Nano X series. Usually polarizers help to eliminate glares, also from water, for example. Also, yeah, we use them sometimes when you're filming through a car's window, for example. With the circular polarizer, you are able again to eliminate the reflection and see through the glass. The ND filters, that's key for video making, helps to compensate the extra amount of light and basically to balance your exposure. Let's say you're filming at 24 frames per second, your shutter speed should be double your frame rate, so 1/48 of a second. You want to keep the ISO either native from your device, not to have any noise in your image, or as low as you can. Usually I go 50, 100, 400 on the Blackmagic because that's a native ISO. But sometimes, even keeping the ISO that low, your exposure will still be overexposed, so too high. And that's when the ND filters come very handy and essential actually, because they reduce different amount of stops and they keep the light away. So your image will be perfectly balanced and exposed correctly. According to the amount of light, you can use ND8, which is the lowest in this kit. So it will reduce the light of the minimum f-stops. And if you go up to ND64, that will keep a lot of light away from your sensor. So it just depends on the light conditions. In a day like this, probably I'm gonna use ND32. We're gonna give you some examples now with the filters, without the filters. Also the ND filters, of course, help you with the motion blur. As we mentioned, if you're filming at 24 frames per second, your shutter should be double because of the motion blur. If your shutter speed is too fast, is too high, your image will look skippy because there's no motion blur. So we want to always keep the shutter speed double your frame rate. So the question today is, do we actually need ND filters for the drones? Okay, we're gonna start the test, and before doing that, I want to guide you through the settings I'm using for this particular test. I'm setting everything in manual, so I'm in charge fully of the controls and the image. And first of all, I'm recording in 4K, 30 frames per second. To have a correct exposure at this point, I have to push the ISO to 400. And the shutter speed, of course, is gonna be 1/60th of a second, so the exposure is correct right now. So first shot, I'm gonna go full throttle, full speed through these two rocks and see if we notice any motion blur. Now we're gonna do the second test. I'm gonna run around and jump like an idiot, but that's what I do, so hey, get used to it. And we're gonna see how the motion blur works in this case. So if you wanna use the active track, this is how your image would look with an ND filter. Once again, I'm using the Freewell ND filter number 2 from f-stop 6 to f-stop 9. So this is ND 64. This is the last mode, so no filter on, and I need to change some settings here on the drone. Well, basically I need to change the shutter speed to match the lighting settings. So as you can see, it's very exposed. The image is very exposed right now. I'm gonna leave the ISO to 400 just because I want to match the previous settings and I want to change as less controls as possible. The shutter speed needs to go to 3200 to match the previous setting. So before the shutter speed was 1/60th, remember, and now is 3200. So definitely a big change right there. So let's gonna take the same shots here. So the change of shutter speed with these settings without filter is definitely noticeable. If you want to get closer to professional filmmaking, well, then the ND filters are what you need. That's my personal opinion anyway. So that was the kit of filters from K&F Concept. Go and check them out on Amazon. Again, the link down here. A lot of new content coming soon. We're trying the FPV. I'm learning from Giovanni, the master. So go and check him out as well on Insta if you need an FPV drone pilot. There you go. If you need a videographer, here I am. See you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.